Welcome to this week's edition of In Touch Crime Beat. I'm Officer Don with Fayette Commonwealth's Attorney Ray Larson. A few topics we're going to discuss, including Lexington putting together a public safety commission to deal with the issues relating to that House bill that we've been griping about that basically keeps us from putting people in jail. Also, Arizona, they have done a prison inmate profile, and it's very interesting. It's going to give us an idea of the kind of people that are actually in prison. And it probably will give us an idea of what we're dealing with here in Kentucky as well, and then some other wacky things with our criminal justice system. We'll touch on those as well. Ray, let's talk about this Public Safety Commission. This is the first I've heard about the Public Safety Commission. What are they doing here?
Well, the mayor, Jim Gray, has appointed a number of people to what he calls the Public Safety Commission. The idea is to try to address the requirements of this legislation that we've been whining, at least I've been whining about, House Bill 463, which is basically has put a price tag on the safety of our citizens, or as I like to now call it, it's kind of checkbook justice. And the idea, it's been divided into two groups. One is to deal specifically with how is Lexington going to deal with this House Bill 463. The other one is how will it impact the detention center.
Let's stop for a second about deal with House Bill 463. What impact is it having that we need to deal with? What are we referring to specifically?
Well, basically, what's the enforcement impact? You know, you've talked a lot about the idea that in many misdemeanors that used to be arrestable are now giving them tickets, and that's an issue.
So it's an issue on impact on crime. It's an issue on gathering intelligence to solve crimes. And the example that we've always given is the copper thieves.
Sure.
They are just running rampant. We'll touch on that later during the show. But you know, why not? Because with the House Bill 463, it basically makes, if the officers catch you with copper that you've stolen, it's really not an arrestable offense anymore. It's something they're supposed to give you a ticket for. And that's one of the reasons we've seen such a spike in this. And there are other crimes that this affects as well. Everything from people who choose to get their license suspended because of a DUI, or because they just don't pay their tickets, and then when they get pulled over, guess what they get? Another ticket. They're not supposed to be arrested. So basically, you've got someone who's already been in violation, you just keep giving them tickets. And if someone's here illegally, they don't have a license anyway, they never go to jail, or if they're not really held accountable because of House Bill 463, because it allows people to drive without driver's licenses. Which those are the type of impacts we're seeing with this House bill. So I guess that's some of the things we're going to deal with this Public Safety Commission.
One of I've been appointed to the Detention Center Work Group, and the idea is just exactly what kind of information is being maintained, and what are some ideas. And this is going to lead into this Arizona prisoner profile study that was done, but we were talking, and I don't want to know just when you say the demographics of the people in the jail. I don't want to just know what their race is, or how old they are, or what their income level. That's fine. What I'm interested in is additional information. I want to know what their criminal record is, because that is very serious and very important to making decisions about whether or not they get out or not. You see what I mean? That's significant. So I'm very interested in that. The other thing I'm interested in is they're putting people out. People are getting out on probation, or they're getting out on parole and those kind of things. And if that's going to continue to happen, we got to keep up with these people. They're saying that the laugher, Officer Don, is that the legislature says we're going to release prisoners at the same time we're going to increase public safety. How can you say that in the same sentence?
It's called spin, brother. I mean, and it's the ultimate spin. There's no doubt about that, to try to say that we're going to make you safer by letting people out of prison. It's one of the reasons that I've sort of kept quiet about the whole GPS ankle bracelet thing, because I've always felt that they would use that technology, they'd abuse it. They'd start letting people out of prison that don't need to be released under the guise of, well, it's okay, we can watch them now, which I know is just bullcrap. I mean, these people didn't think about the consequences before they broke into your house or they raped people, whatever. They're not, you know, it's just, it's hard for a normal person to get into the mindset of a criminal. You know, we see this all the time. You've seen it with juries. I mean, it's very difficult to explain to a juror or explain to a normal person why someone would kill another person over a compact disc. But we've seen stuff like that. You can't eliminate anything when it comes to human nature. And some people, they're just going to do bonehead things. And it really doesn't matter what the reason is. If they raped or killed someone or broke into your home, who cares?
Well, the concern, the interest I have is if these characters are being probated or paroled, I want them checked on. I want them to understand people are watching. And the way you do that is you create a day reporting center. And for example, somebody's probated, one of the orders ought to be, one of the conditions ought to be that you report to this day reporting center by 9 o'clock every morning. What does that do? It gets their butt out of bed, which is something they're not used to. And they have to learn to function during the daytime hours instead of sleeping till 1 in the afternoon and then rocking and rolling all night.
But there's a reason that will be fought, and you know it as well as I do, because they know if you put a day reporting center on the table, half of them won't report to it, and you'll have to put them back in jail. They don't want to put any conditions that would cause us to put these people back in jail. They don't want to do that. That's why you're going to get a lot of resistance.
Well, maybe, but that's the reason. That's one of the reasons I'm pleased to be on this group, is that there may be resistance, but if there is, we'll talk about the resistance and where it's coming from right on this show.
And you remember the memo that we had leaked to us, I guess a year and a half ago, about probation and parole officers, how they were told not to check on people after hours. Just said, basically, I know this person may be on parole, out on parole, probation, because it was a burglar that committed burglaries at night, but we don't want you to go check on that person to see where they're at night. Stay away from them. We want you to check during the day, let them know you're coming, because we don't want to catch them wrong. And so that's something that you fight every day when you're trying to deal with these things.
Let me tell you about this. What's got me fired up about who is being released from prison. I just returned from the National District Attorneys Association Board of Directors meeting, and one of my pals in that group is a woman named Barbara Lawal. She's the prosecuting attorney in Tucson, Arizona. And she was telling me about a study that was done that was funded by the Arizona Prosecutors Attorneys Association. Prisoners in Arizona, a profile of the entire inmate population. Now, Arizona has over 40,000 people in prison. And the question was, who are these people and what are they in for? Because we're being told, you know, if we believe what as you call it, the spin that's coming out of Frankfurt, then we got nothing but people in prison who are there as first offense drug offenders. First-time drug offenders got caught with what they call a marijuana roach in their car. Well, Arizona's prison population is not going to be a heck of a lot different than Kentucky's prison population. They're all going to be about the same, maybe just a little difference one way or the other.
Tune in to the following stations every Sunday to hear full episodes of In Touch with Ray the DA and Don Evans.